Hey, hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this Python beginner tutorial series, today let's discuss about Python function arguments. Alright, in one of our previous videos, we discussed about introduction to function and how do we use arguments with function. Right? In this particular video, we'll focus on different ways in which we can provide arguments. Alright, so in our earlier video, we just discussed about very quick introduction, but here we'll discuss in detail about what are different ways and different methods in which we can provide functional arguments. Right. First, we'll see a very traditional way of providing functional argument just as a recap. Okay, so say you want to find sum of two numbers. Okay, so I'm taking a very basic example. I will go to my PyCharm to describe this program. Say you want to find sum of two numbers. So I am declaring a function and defining a method called addition. Say I'm giving some values like a comma b, right, and we'll perform a addition operation, sum equal to a plus b, and print sum. Finally we'll call our method addition by passing the values, say 3 comma 5. Right, now if I run this program, you can see the output 8 is printed. Alright, so here we have passed a very two basic arguments, and we did a addition operation and just printed that sum by calling that function by providing the actual values. Okay, so this is a very traditional way of defining arguments. Alright, and next we will discuss about function argument with default values. Okay, so what you can do is in some situations you want to provide some default values to few arguments. All right, say your x or y or your a or b value doesn't change and you want to fix those values as an argument in your function. So in those kind of situations, what you can do is you can use a function argument with default values. Here we'll take the same example. Okay, we'll take the same addition of two numbers. Say a equal to 4 and b equal to 8. Okay, let's have this as a default value, and we have provided the same operation, sum equal to a plus b. All right, and we are just printing that sum. But here, right, so here in this addition operation, what you can do is you can provide any other values too. For example, say instead of 4 comma 8, if I want to change it to 3 comma 6, I can do that. So now if I run this, you can see this particular value is called. So 3 comma 6, this particular function is executed. Whereas if I want to try something different, say addition of say a equal to 5, now what will happen is the value a will be replaced with 5. So now my earlier this one is printed, which is 9. For my second function call, what happened is now initially a value is 4, now it is replaced with 5. So 5 plus 8 is 13. Okay, this way also you can call the function and say what happens when I do not provide any arguments at all. So I'm just calling the addition function and the arguments is empty. If I run this now, it will take the default values. So this is the main use of default values, right? So whenever I do not provide any argument, and if you are using any default values, the default values will be called in your defined function. So in this situation, 8 plus 4 12 is called when I do not provide any arguments. Okay, this is a different way of calling a function whenever we are working with function argument with default values. All right, so next let's discuss about keyword as an argument, Python keyword argument. Okay, so in some situations, right, arguments are assigned based on the name of the arguments. So in real time, okay, this particular argument might be most used in real time coding scenarios. Okay, because In real time, you do not have this kind of numeric values and all. Most of the times you will get some names which you need to provide as argument. So this particular argument type will be very useful in real time programming. All right, so let's see the same example. Okay, so here in this example, okay, let me jump to my PyCharm to explain this. Let me remove this and say cricket players. I'm just defining a function called cricket players. So I'm trying to have two arguments called first name and last name for now. I do not want to make it complex, so I'm just having first name and last name. All right, and then I want to print first name, and then I want to print last name. Then finally I will call my function cricket players, but here I'm gonna provide the actual values. Last name equal to say Tendulkar and first name equal to Sachin. Alright, so now let me run this. You can see now my first name and last name is printed. Okay, so this way you can pass arguments as a name. Okay, so this is one way. Let's see a similar kind of example for the same method. Let's take a different example. Say this time we'll take 3 arguments, def players. This time let me have a comma b comma c. Right, now let me print some values, say a plus comma comma have played more matches than b plus, do not worry, I will execute and show this, and comma c plus. All right, yeah, now I will call my function, say players player. Okay, player, yes, I will pass the actual values here, say Sachin and say Kohli and Dhoni. All right, so now if I run this, you can see these values, these arguments will be substituted in my print statement here for values a, b and c. So here instead of a, my value Sachin is substituted. Sachin have played more matches than Kohli and Dhoni. Okay, this is another way of passing name as an arguments to your function. All right, so we have seen 2 examples like how we can pass function name as arguments to a function. All right, these 2 methods will be very useful, so I would really suggest you to do hands-on on this particular keyword argument thing, and let me know for any queries, because this is really very important. All right, say there is another way also. If you want to, I missed it, so if you want to substitute the values here, instead of just providing arguments, if you want to substitute, say a equal to Messi, comma b equal to Ronaldo, comma c equal to say Mbappe. All right, so you can now, let me remove this just for better understanding. So now if I run this, you can see Messi have played more matches than Ronaldo and Mbappe. Alright, so this is another way of passing name as an argument. Alright, I hope you understood how this function argument works. Next we will discuss about Python functions with arbitrary arguments. Alright, so this is again very interesting and important thing when working with arguments. The reason is because sometimes we are not aware of the number of arguments which we will be using in our function. Okay, so especially to handle this kind of situation, we use something called arbitrary arguments. Okay, so arbitrary arguments allows us is it can pass varying number of arguments during a function call. Okay, so you can see this particular example here. I'm having something called star num. So whenever we use this star asterisk, okay, so it means that we are not aware of the number of arguments. The number of arguments might vary. So sometimes it might be 3, sometimes it might be 10, whatever it is. All right, so in those kind of situation, we will use something called asterisk passed by a function name. Okay, not function name, argument name. So here this is also called as Python args. So generally we call this term in Python as Python args. Right, let's see this example. Let's see an example where we can find the sum of n number of integers, whereas the values, the input can vary. Okay, so let's see this example in our PyCharm. Here, say let's try def addition, and so we are not aware of the number of parameters we are going to use, right? So star num, and then we have to define sum equal to, initialize sum equal to 0 first, and then we have to iterate through each and every element in a argument to find the sum of the numbers, right? So we have to introduce a traditional for loop for n in num, right? And then what is our actual value? Sum, right? So sum equal to sum plus n. N is our actual value, n is our iterator, right? So print sum. Finally we'll call our addition method. Say here let 7 comma 5 comma 4 comma 2 comma 12 comma 8. Okay, so this is we can pass any number of arguments here. Okay, so it will calculate all this sum of the provided numbers. We can also call the same function by providing different kind of arguments. Like earlier we passed 5 arguments, now we can pass 3 arguments. It calculated a sum as 44. Okay, so this is very handy, okay, in real time. In case if you are not aware of the number of arguments that we will be using in real time programming, this particular method becomes very handy. And during function call or else during runtime, you can pass the number of arguments according to your requirement. All right, so these are different ways in which you can pass arguments. I hope you understood. In case if you have any queries, please let me know in the comment section. If you like this video, please subscribe and follow my channel. Thank you.